Everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the Jordan Report, and I'm your host, Robert Jordan. Everyone, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Okay, guys, for those who've been watching Trump over the last 4 years, you'll see one thing or notice one thing. He's far more intelligent than his enemies, and he's always 2 steps ahead of them. And Trump can maneuver them to do things that they can't get him to do. And this is what's happening here, and this is why I tell everybody, never get worried until you see Trump worried. And you haven't seen Trump worried in 4 years. It's because he knows what he's doing. Governor Cuomo, Trump had better have an army to protect him if he comes to New York City. These are the things that he can get his enemies to say and do. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo on Wednesday all but threatened Trump's safety if he returns to New York City in a rant responding to the New York Post. That Trump is looking to pull federal funds from lawless cities including New York. Cuomo called an emergency press briefing within half an hour on Wednesday night to tear into Trump for the order, which cites New York's rising murder rate and defunding the NYPD. You see how he quickly got a rise out of him? He quickly got a response from him. Trump does this all the time. He'd better have an army if he thinks he's going to walk down the street in New York. New Yorkers don't want to have anything to do with him, the Democrat said, all but threatening the commander-in-chief. But Cuomo, who like Trump hails from Queens, wasn't done. He can't have enough bodyguards to walk through New York City. People don't want to have anything to do with it. On substance, Cuomo said he doubted the legality of Trump's 5-page memo ordering a review of federal funds that could be redirected from New York City, Portland, Seattle, and Washington, D.C. It's more of the same from him. It's political, it's gratuitous, and it's illegal. But it is another attempt to kill New York City, Cuomo said. President Ford said drop dead. President Trump said he has been actively trying to kill New York since he's been elected, he said. In a highly personal and insulting language, Cuomo speculated that Trump wasn't upset about New York's soaring murder rate and shootings. I think it's because he's from New York City, and New York City rejected him. Always, Cuomo said. He was dismissed as a clown in New York City. Those who know him best like him least, Cuomo jeered. He was disrespected in New York. Nobody took him seriously, and he's just a tabloid cartoon. Referring to a claim in a recent book that Trump's niece, Mary Cuomo, said, his sister, a former federal judge, is disgraced by him. All right, I'm going to show you the local news, boy. He got Cuomo hot. I'm going to show you the local news, and then we're going to get out of here.
He better have an army if he thinks he's going to walk down the street in New York.
Pulling no punches, Governor Cuomo's scathing response to the president's threat to pull federal funds from New York City. Thanks for joining us. A busy night tonight at 11. I'm Natalie Pasquarella. Stefan has tonight off. As you just heard there, the governor did not hold back in response to President Trump's call to redirect federal funds from so-called lawless cities. The move, targeting Seattle, Washington, D.C., Portland, and New York, would cost the Big Apple a reported $7 billion. But as News 4's Rana Novini joins us tonight live to explain, Rana, the president's plan may not be plausible, let alone legal.
Yeah, that's right, Natalie. And the governor is calling this all a stunt. He says it is illegal for the president to divert federal funds in this way. But still, the president tonight is pressing forward with the threat.
President Trump tweeting tonight, saying his administration will do everything in its power to prevent weak mayors and lawless cities from taking federal dollars while they let anarchists harm people, burn buildings, and ruin lives and businesses. That threat also coming in the form of a White House memo asking federal agencies to review funding cuts to cities and states deemed what he calls lawless zones. Places, he says, like Portland, Seattle, Washington, D.C., and New York City.
Look, it's more of the same from him. It's cheap, it's political, and it's illegal.
Governor Cuomo on a conference call tonight says Trump's threats are baseless. New York City receives roughly $7 billion in federal funding a year and is calling on more to battle the budget crisis brought on by the pandemic.
If he was a king, then it would kill New York City, which is what he has been trying to do since he was elected. And I'm telling you, it's personal because New York City knows him for the joke that he is. He better have an army if he thinks he's going to walk down the street in New York. No, New Yorkers don't want to have anything to do with him.
In the president's memo, he says New York officials allowed looting to occur earlier in the summer. It also refers to the city's spike in crime and budget cuts to the NYPD, saying that allowed violence to surge. The New York Civil Liberties Union says Trump's move to defund New York City is an illegal stunt designed to sow chaos and threaten our democracy. New Yorkers won't tolerate political grandstanding driven by racism and fear-mongering.
Yeah, Governor Cuomo did not hold back tonight. He went on to say in his comments that he believes President Trump is trying to distract from his response to the coronavirus. Reporting live in the Bronx tonight, Brandon Ovini, News 4 New York.
All right, guys. All I got to say is go get him, Trump.